Welcome back to my little underwater world. Today we're watching my young Australian Redclaw Crayfish during feeding time. They are still very young, but they're already starting to show some really interesting behavior. For today's feeding, I gave them two simple vegetables, fresh cucumber and carrot. Redclaw crayfish are omnivores and they can eat many different types of food. In a controlled system, a balanced diet is very important. But vegetables are also a great way to observe how they search for food and interact with each other. Watch carefully as they begin to come out of their shelters. They use their long antennae to explore everything around them, searching for food and checking what is happening nearby. There are actually two slightly different age groups living together here. Some of these crayfish arrived about 2 weeks earlier than the others. 2 weeks may not sound like much, but while they are growing this quickly, the difference in size is already becoming quite noticeable. And this is where things get interesting. The larger crayfish are becoming much more confident around the food. When they find a good feeding position, they don't always want to share it. A smaller crayfish may try to approach, only to be pushed away by one of the larger individuals. That's why today I placed food in two different locations. Instead of having just one feeding point, there is cucumber in one place and carrot in another. This gives the smaller crayfish another opportunity to find food without having to compete directly with the largest individuals. As this group grows, I'll continue experimenting with multiple feeding locations. Eventually, this could become an important part of the feeding strategy because one dominant crayfish shouldn't be able to control all of the available food. You can also see the PVC pipes in the background. These are not just decoration, they are shelters, and shelters are extremely important for crayfish. Crayfish naturally look for protected places where they can rest and hide. This becomes especially important during molting. As a crayfish grows, it has to shed its old hard shell. Immediately after molting, the new shell is still soft, leaving the animal much more vulnerable. Having enough separate hiding places can help reduce conflicts and give each crayfish somewhere to retreat. At the moment, these little crayfish still have a long way to go, but that's exactly why I wanted to start filming them now. Over the coming weeks and months, we'll be able to watch their entire development. We'll see them grow larger, develop stronger claws, and gradually show more of the beautiful colours that Australian Redclaw Crayfish are known for. As they become bigger, it should also become much easier to distinguish the males from the females. Right now, they're still young, so I don't want to make any conclusions too early. Another thing I'm experimenting with is the underwater camera. For this video, the camera is positioned slightly above the bottom, between the shelters. But next time, I'm going to try placing it directly on the bottom. That should give us a completely different perspective. Imagine one of these crayfish walking directly toward the camera with its claws in front. As they become larger, I think those underwater shots could look incredible. I also want to capture more of their natural behavior. Feeding, exploring, defending their favorite shelters, interacting with each other, and hopefully even molting. This group is still at the very beginning of its journey, and that's what makes it so interesting. Every few weeks, they should look different. So this isn't just one feeding video. I want to document their development step by step and create a record of how these tiny juvenile crayfish eventually become full-grown Australian Redclaw. If you enjoy watching these fascinating animals and want to see how they develop, subscribe to the channel and follow their journey. We'll keep watching them grow, learning from their behavior and improving their environment along the way. And let's see just how much these little crayfish can change in 1 month.